Draft Preview presented by Apartments.com. I'm Patrick Claybon, and we are continuing our countdown to the 2021 NFL Draft, which will be featured here in Cleveland, Ohio, the site of the 2021 Draft. So much suspense and intrigue surrounding the draft, especially surrounding that number 3 pick. What will the 49ers do with the pick that they've invested so much in getting? Well, General Manager John Lynch was letting that suspense linger a bit today.
Everyone has, in your contract, you do this. The draft is mine. But I told Kyle from the beginning that he and I are doing this together. And when it comes to quarterbacks, I'd be foolish, I believe. We have a head coach who's also our offensive play caller. I will always defer to him. And, what's cool about that is that Kyle, I think, respects my opinion enough. He always wants it. And ultimately, we arrive at decisions. We will. And come Thursday, we'll have a pick that hopefully makes everyone proud, but that will be judged in years to come. And we've done our best to make sure that it's a great decision for this franchise.
So the GM and coach are working together. That's what I get from that. Let's get to Cleveland, where we'll find NFL Network insider Ian Rappaport in the foreground, some people assembling things in the background ahead of the draft. Ian, you're reporting that they've narrowed the decision at 3 between Jones and Lance, which to me says, am I taking this, they haven't made the decision yet?
Here's my understanding of where the 49ers stand. Now, Coach Kyle Shanahan said in that same press conference they would feel comfortable with 5 of the quarterbacks at 3. Obviously, 2, presumably Trevor Lawrence and Zach Wilson, are going to be gone. So he's saying they'd be comfortable with 3. My understanding is they would be comfortable with 2. And that would exclude Justin Fields, the decorated Ohio State quarterback, from the conversation, meaning the 49ers are down to Mac Jones and Trey Lance. Do they know for absolute certain? No. My understanding is they do have a favorite, and really they have a favorite. They've had a favorite for this entire time, and Kyle Shanahan basically said it. They traded up with a player in mind, and then they went through the entire process. What they're trying to do right now is build a consensus in their building. There's nothing more important for an organization, nothing, than a franchise quarterback. Everyone has to be on board. So they're going through everything again, the tape, the references, they're doing calls, they're speaking with people from all sorts of different places in their background. Every single place they can get in a possible inkling into the person, that is what the 49ers are going through now.
And it does bring it into context. We can look at this from the outside without having to consider that the 49ers don't necessarily know. We could perhaps project what's going to happen in front of them, but they do have to go through this process as everybody else does, not necessarily knowing what's going to happen in the first 2 picks. So thanks to NFL Network insider Ian Rappaport. He will be back with us as we continue here on the Draft Preview Show. Let's look back at some top 5 trades for quarterbacks and how they worked out. Washington moved up from 6th to 2nd to draft RG3. They had a lot of success with Kyle Shanahan, mind you. The Eagles moved up from 8th to 2nd in 2016 to draft Carson Wentz, who is now the Colts quarterback. The Rams moving up from 15th to 1st to draft Jared Goff, who's now the Lions quarterback after they made that trade for Matthew Stafford. And the Jets moving up from 6th to 3rd to draft Sam Darnold. So there's been opportunities for success. Maybe success hasn't always planned out as we welcome in our analysts for the day, Pro Football Hall of Famers LaDainian Tomlinson and Terrell Davis, and 3-time Pro Bowler D'Angelo Hall as top 10 pick himself. LT, I'll start with you. We'll make this super simple. Who should the 49ers draft at number 3?
It's Justin Fields, and in my opinion, Justin Fields is the second best quarterback in this draft next to Trevor Lawrence. I believe what you're getting when you draft this young man is a guy with a tremendous ceiling. He's tough. He's very competitive. He has great leadership qualities. We've seen that recently. But the other things are he's mobile in the pocket. We know that he has a strong arm. He can make all the throws that you want him to make. In my opinion, guys, this guy reminds me of Donovan McNabb. So if you get him and you put him in Kyle Shanahan's office, automatically you're going to upgrade that position over Jimmy Garoppolo. I hear the talk about Mac Jones. I don't understand why you would trade all of that capital to move up to number 3 to draft a guy in Mac Jones, who is just like Jimmy Garoppolo, in my opinion. I understand the injury history with Jimmy Garoppolo, but if you want to elevate this offense, you got to get a guy like a Justin Fields, who I believe has shown us. We've put the tape on, and we've seen this guy play at the highest level.
LT, you're spot on with this one, man. I watched Justin Fields. Obviously, he committed to Georgia many years ago, and then he decommitted and left Georgia and went to Ohio State. So watched him for a lot of years, and this dude has always been the best quarterback. I mean, it was Trevor Lawrence, and it's been Justin Fields. Those two quarterbacks for a very long time. Not only that, man, I like a quarterback who's able to leave one program and walk on to Ohio State. I mean, that's not a program that you can just go on and, and just kind of find your way to the top of that program. It's difficult to do. He did that. So I love that about him. And then you talk about Mac Jones. I mean, not enough games under his belt to me. Just that hasn't had the seasoned college career. Trey Lance, same thing with him. They're all winners. But to me, Justin Fields is the guy that I'm rolling with. I mean, I'm going to trade up and go to number 3. It can't be any other quarterback than Justin Fields, in my opinion.
And D'Angelo, those who followed the prep game and then the college game, we've seen Justin Fields, as TD and LT mentioned, have so much success. How do you react when you hear Ian report that Justin Fields is the only one that's clearly off the board for the 49ers, considering all he's accomplished?
Yeah, and to me, that's probably the strangest thing. That, to me, is the kid that, when I saw the 49ers move up, instantly my eyes lit up. Having practiced against, this Mike Shanahan and Kyle Shanahan offense for all of those years in Washington, having competed against it. Man, when you can put a mobile quarterback in that offense who can still make every single throw, like we're calling Justin Fields a mobile quarterback, but by no stretch of the imagination is this kid a Trey Lance where he's going to run around the football field the majority of the time. He's trying to hang in that pocket and make plays. And so, having been on that team with that offense, and TD, you can attest to it, having a quarterback be able to have a free rusher and just elude that pressure, those split instances that not all the time can you prepare for. I just think a guy like Justin Fields gives you so much more of, like you said, that upside, that ceiling. And it's not knocking Trey Lance, it's not knocking Mac Jones. To me, I just see so many more intangibles in Justin Fields than I do in those other football players.
And D-Hall, back to your point, you said I played in that system, and that system requires a mobile quarterback. So I don't understand the Mac Jones, selection there. Maybe Trey Lance, but to me, he's still a developmental quarterback so far behind Justin Fields that's going to take some time for him to get caught up. So to me, it would have been a 2-horse race. It would have been Justin Fields and Trey Lance. But Trey Lance, to me, again, I'm not moving up to 3rd to get him either, because I know that he's going to be there, probably around that 10 spot or so. So it just doesn't make sense. And I'm curious to see or find out why the Shanahans and why John Lynch, why they're discounting or just disqualifying Justin Fields from that field right now. I'm curious about that.
And it's something that, of course, after Thursday, we'll have full context for how the decision-making process went through. But I am thinking back to the trade between the 49ers and the Bears, where the 49ers were on the other side of that, and they saw how aggressive that a team was willing to make a move in such a small spot to get a quarterback. Perhaps that plays into their thinking to get into this position to try to get some quarterback. We're going to find out who coming up on Thursday. That's the discussion regarding the pick at 3. The intrigue doesn't dissipate there, because the Falcons are right there at 4, and there's 5 projected first-round quarterbacks in this draft. The Atlanta Falcons had a top 5 pick at quarterback in Matt Ryan, starting for a decade plus. So now they have a decision to make as well, not just at that position, but at another position as well, as we get NFL Network insider Ian Rappaport back in. They're getting calls about Julio.
They are getting calls about Julio. And, I would say a couple months ago or a year ago, this would be ridiculous. No one would ever think that the Falcons would trade Julio Jones, one of the best players in the history of their organization, one of the best receivers ever. But their salary cap is such a mess. That Julio Jones contract, which is great for him, incredible contract for him, is one of the worst contracts I've ever seen for a team. It really has helped their salary cap explode, so much so that they need to create room just